Ladies and gentlemen, the first SciBite talk will be delivered by Anna Couturier from the University of Edinburgh Centre for Regenerative Medicine. Her presentation is titled EuroGCT, Building a Shared Understanding of Gene and Cell Therapies in a Changing Informational Landscape. She will explore how AI tools and digital communication platforms are reshaping the way patients and professionals access information about advanced therapies. Ms. Couturier, we now invite you to address the lecture. Thank you very much.
Good morning. So those of you who know me will know that I rarely miss an opportunity to reference Václav Havel, my North Star of writing, playwright, dissident, first president of the independent Czechoslovakia. And it is an unusual habit, I have been repeatedly told, for a computer scientist working in patient advocacy in Scotland to do this. And yet finally here in Prague, I feel vindicated and justified. Havel understood, I'm actually going to go back. Havel understood that making the most durable changes in society doesn't begin with institutions or funding. It begins when people decide that evidenceable truth matters and that sharing it is worth the often hard effort it takes to do. I firmly believe, and I think I have a good evidence to say, that the success of advanced therapies in Europe is not going to be decided by science alone, nor by funding alone. It depends on whether patients, clinicians, regulators, and researchers can work from a shared base of understanding. And that base is only as strong as the information available for them to build from. I will not shock anyone to say that the digital landscape information that we all rely on has changed significantly over the last 12 to 16 months. I am here today not only as a representative of somebody who has worked on the EuroGCT project for many years and contributed to it, but also as a representative through Genetic Alliance UK of over 250 rare disease patient support organizations for whom accessible, accurate information about gene therapies is a practical necessity. It makes the difference between meaningful engagement in clinical trials and being left outside of it. So, I think it is there we go. I think it's important to state that ATMPs depend on more than economic capital to succeed. They fundamentally require a social and institutional capital, the fuel that gets people engaged to change these systems. Fundamentally, social and institutional capital matters as much as economic capital, and that depends on accessible knowledge. This is something that has become clear over the years. We saw early on with stem cell research in the early 2000s. The more that people understand these therapies, the more that people understand the process that we go through for evidenceable clinical trials, the more that we are able to get people's buy-in. We have had a massive shift in the digital knowledge landscape, which is used by all stakeholders to mediate our knowledge on ATMPs in the last 12 to 16 months. AI tools now mediate many people's first encounter with very complex science, complex patient journeys and trajectories. And generative AI surfaces answers, not sources. So those answers, they are no longer necessarily from the greatest expert voice in the room, but rather they reflect the voices that are best represented within training data. The automatic translation has removed what was once a natural buffer for crossing languages. Non-European English first sources now reach every language, every group, instantly and at scale. There's power in definition, right? When authoritative European sources are pushed down in this new environment that we are using every day, the consequences are practical. How does a patient know what therapies or clinical trials are available to them? How do they understand who pays under what conditions? How do they distinguish accurate information from misinformation that could cause real harm? Please ignore my accent, but the European expert voice does not persist in this environment by accident. It requires a sustained effort. But I don't want to panic anyone. We are not starting from zero. EuroGCT is a project that has previously funded by the European Commission. It's a consortium of 47 partners that includes scientists, clinicians, patient advocates, regulators, developers, media experts, all building a shared understanding around the science behind ATMPs. The website reaches over 12 million people. In the last 16 months alone, it's reached 11.3 million people through direct generative AI searches. It ranks consistently in the top 6 for gene and cell therapies. And it does this through a number of different ways. One, a patient pathway, which is a structured pathway around hundreds of expert-reviewed resources. It also does it through a researcher's pathway, which is for researchers looking to understand how therapies can move through the European landscape. And the goal is to lower barriers to engagement through reference material, but not just reference material, through making sure that reference material gets where it needs to go. EuroGCT is a living lab. I'm very proud of the fact that it has been built as an open source code base with developers and computer scientists like myself. And that was not by accident. That was a deliberate choice to make sure that the material that is created is immediately taken up by these AA mediators. I would encourage everyone here to get involved. EuroGCT is a collaboration that exists because people in rooms like this decided that it was worth building, and its continuation depends on whether or not that decision is made in rooms like this again. What would it mean for ATMP clinical trials if every participant understood what a vector is, what a comparator arm does, what conditional approval means for their access? What would change in your work if the people around the table, patients, advocates, policymakers, regulators, were working from the same knowledge base as you? So I'll leave you with this. When I was teaching through EuroGCT over the years, I used to ask early career researchers a question that I would like you to sit with today. What concept, better understood by a lay audience, would make it easier to discuss your work? It's a question that I've never heard anyone answer quickly, but when you do, I think the EuroGCT team would like to hear it. And I invite you all to get involved. Please come speak to me about any involvement in this, or if you'd like to discuss AI and any panic around that. Thank you very much.